Welcome to Behind the Veil. Now, here is your transformational coach, Tammy Cox.
Okay. So, Shae, I just have to tell you my intentions with my podcast is really to get you the most amount of healing in the shortest period of time. That is my intention, to go as deep as possible. And I would love to know if I could give you one thing that would just bring the most into your life in this call. What would that one thing be?
Oh, peace.
Peace.
Yeah, probably just some peace. I don't feel like I've had peace in a long time.
That's interesting. You know, I've been getting that one a lot.
Really?
Yeah. And that kind of tells me just about, kind of what's the energy going on the planet right now, that people are really wanting to call in peace.
It's so messy.
Yeah. Okay. So reading back on your story, right, gave me a good understanding of you and where you're at right now. But for the sake of the listeners, I'm going to have you give me like a brief description of sort of your love background and kind of how that ties into you're 41. You're 42. Oh, we're the same age. So yeah, go ahead and give a little backstory on the romantic side of your life experience so far.
So I don't have a ton of experience romantically. I was 21 when I met my ex-husband. Or was it, yeah, no, I was 21 when I met him, and I was 22 when I married him. And then we had a baby, our first daughter, and I was married to him for almost 20 years, and we just got divorced last summer. And he cheated the entire marriage with men and women. He was very emotionally and verbally abusive, financially abusive, sexually abusive. It took a lot to finally leave him. And he's still trying to, he still terrorizes me to this day. So I don't really have a whole lot of experience with that. But then being single, and I want to be married. Like, I loved being married. I was a great wife, just didn't have a very good husband. But I want that still. So like navigating the dating scene after 20 years, which the last time I dated, it was not cool to meet somebody online. Now it's the only way people do it, has been disappointing, to say the least. I don't know. I just thought I don't know what I thought, to be honest. It's just been very shocking and disappointing, I guess, would be my main definition, I guess, of what I would describe it. Sorry, a little lost for words there. Yeah, I don't have many ex-partners, and I really don't want to have a ton, but I don't know that it's ever going to happen, because the whole landscape of dating seems to be very just, a lack of better terms, hit it and quit it, maybe. So I don't really know where to go from there.
Okay. Got it. So you just covered a lot of ground. I'm going to dig in a little deeper. Okay. Your ex-husband that you were with 20 years cheated on you the whole time.
Yeah.
He was abusive, controlling, manipulative, you say?
Yep.
Why did you stay with him 20 years?
So that's a good question. So it took me about, probably it wasn't until about year 10 that I found out about the cheating. Even though he had cheated on me before, but I didn't know to what level it was until about year 10. But he traveled for work, so he was never home. He was only home on the weekends. And I had 3 kids. We had 3 daughters. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I was doing it all. He put everything on me. There was nothing he took care of. He went to work, and he, paid or provided financially, but that was it. And he withheld money from me. Anytime he would get upset with me, he would cancel my credit card. There were times when I would be at the grocery store and trying to check out, and my card wouldn't work. So I would have to put everything back or just leave and be embarrassed. I think so much. I loved him. And I took my vows seriously. And I thought, if he has a problem, then we can get it fixed. I was going to stand by him until, I absolutely couldn't. He was pretty ugly most of our marriage, and issues with his family and stuff. I don't know why. Because I loved him and I wanted to keep our family together. And I trusted him. Every time he would get caught or something would happen, he would beg and cry. And he's an amazing actor, like an amazing actor. And I believed him until I didn't anymore. And then it was just more of, because I knew what it would hurt, how much it was going to hurt. And then financially too, what I had to lose. I supported him. He didn't have any money when I met him, but we built up his career. He traveled Monday through Friday. He's a consultant. Now he's a partner. And I didn't ever work. So I knew that trying to get back into, I wasn't naive about it. I knew trying to get back into the workspace was going to be difficult with a 20-year gap. And so during it, I kept thinking if we can make it work, we can make it work. But each year, just, another year went by, another year went by. And so finally I just couldn't, I have 3 daughters and they were seeing, it was not a healthy environment. And it just got to the point where I couldn't stay anymore. So I had to leave him. He cheated on his birthday, came home and was just so ugly about it.
So a few things.
Mhm.
One, you said I stayed with him because I loved him, but were you loving you?
No, not at all. It's funny because I always said I have self-respect, but clearly I didn't. I had no, where was the self-respect at? He would embarrass me, humiliate me. So I didn't talk to people. Like I didn't tell my family. I didn't talk to my friends about it because one, I didn't want to taint, his appearance, I didn't want to ruin his reputation to my family and friends. And I just have always had the mindset that, it's between him and I, it's between him and I. Meanwhile, he's going behind my back and he's lying to everybody, making this out to be, just a liar. He's just an absolute liar. And, but I didn't know. And when I say that he's a good actor, he's one of the best. And anyone would be hard pressed not to fall for it. If I'm being honest, it was to the point where I knew he was lying and I didn't expect him to change because he hadn't, but it was easier to stay than it was to leave. Financially, we were doing really well. And my kids, I could provide for them anything that they needed. They were very spoiled and I was able to give them this life that I wouldn't be able to do, by myself.
Okay.
And it was scary.
So where did you learn that it's okay for a man to treat you that way?
I don't know that I ever learned that it was okay because I always knew that it wasn't.
So then if you knew that it wasn't, how did you let a man treat you like this for 20 years? I'm going to have you close your eyes for a second. Okay.
Okay.
And just to give you kind of like some of the stuff that I take you through, your mind might come in and kind of question it and say, what is this? Is weird, whatever. Just know that I'm working with your subconscious mind and you might not understand it and kind of sink back in and just surrender to it. Yeah.
I could do.
Okay. So I want you to really feel into the pain of what it felt like when you knew that he was cheating on you, manipulating you, controlling you. I want you to allow yourself to feel it because I see that you're quite disconnected from that emotional feeling. And I want you to sink into it. And then I want you to also identify, because there is a place in your body where this emotion is stored or comes from. And the first impression, I want you to take your hand and place it on that area. It'll be the first impression. Just place your hand on it. That's right. And I want you to recognize, what color is it?
Dark purple, like a dark purple.
Dark purple. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine that dark purple ball of energy is now shining out, kind of projecting out from you with an image. And this image is the very first time you experience that emotion. And I want you to trust yourself here. Allow that picture to get very, very clear. And when you got it, let me know.
I have it.
You have it. Okay. I want you to describe to me this image in as much detail as you can remember. Taste, smell, touch. What's happening in this image?
So we're in my car that we lived in Michigan at the time. And I just gotten back from being in Texas visiting my dad who was dying. And I was signing papers to be his power of attorney. And he picks me up in my car. And as soon as I get in, I call my mom to let her know that I made it safely. And I see makeup in the cup holder of my car. And it's not my makeup. And I tell my mom I have to call you back. And he tells me it's my makeup. He says, "Oh, that's yours." And I was just devastated. I had my baby in the back. I literally just got back from a very emotional trip.
Keep your eyes shut.
Okay, sorry.
I want you to stay in the moment. You're there now. I want you to describe it as if it's happening now. With little backstory, just describe what's happening in this image.
We're fighting. Obviously, I'm arguing and I'm telling him that that's not my makeup and how absurd that is. Like, I think I know my makeup. And he's telling me, no, that's yours. That's absolutely yours. The car is cold. It's cold in there because it was winter. And I'm so mad. And the baby starts crying. And then I start crying. And he threatens to pull the car over. And so I just got quiet. Sorry. I
Let yourself feel it. Get connected to that emotion, that purple.
we're just feeling rage. I'm feeling rage and I'm angry. One, because I know I know it's a lie. So I'm trying to just stay quiet and not cause any more confrontation or conflict. And the whole car ride home was quiet. And it was a longer car ride because it was the middle of winter in Michigan. We lived outside of Detroit. There was snow everywhere. Roads were icy. And the baby just cried the whole way home.
Okay, I want you to go into that rage feeling, okay? That purple. I want you to see it as a big ball inside of your heart, and I want you to go inside of it. I want you to connect to it, and I want you to allow yourself to feel it. Whatever emotion wants to come up, knowing that your emotion is stuck inside of your body until it is emoted, energy in motion. How does it want to come out?
I want to scream.
Yeah.
And I want to tell done.
I want you to scream.
Oh, I'm really not a screamer, but I do want to cry sometimes. I do cry a lot.
Well, see, here's the thing. You have that anger trapped inside of you.
I do. I have a lot of the anger trapped inside of me, and it scares me.
It's all trapped inside of you. And here's the thing. It stays there until it's emoted. So somewhere in your life, you were talked out of feeling the anger.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was your parents or who in your childhood said, you are not allowed to feel anger. You are not allowed to act that way. And so what did you do? You suppressed it. And so guess where it resides? Right there in your heart. And it will stay there until you express it. So I'm going to give you a few different ways that you could do it. If you don't want to do it on this call, I totally get it. What I would do is I would take your journal, go whenever you have a moment, I would go to sometimes I do this in the bed with the pillow, your closet, anywhere you can scream. It's called primal screaming. You can scream from your guts, like, and you just let all the sound come out, because sound is healing, right? It's a way we emote. Tears, right? Tears will eventually come. You will scream, you will scream, you will scream, picturing it from the very base of your spine coming up. Okay. And sometimes I like to have the visual of, did you ever see The Green Mile?
Yes.
Okay. You know how he took the energy of that man, all the evil of that man, and he let it pass through him, and then he out of his mouth. I want you to see it like that, and you're going to do it with volume.
Okay.
And you're going to turn the volume up, and you are going to scream until all the purple is gone. And you're going to know when the purple's gone, right?
Okay.
And I will tell you, there's more places in your body where that's trapped, and you might have to do this kind of ritualistically. Maybe it's once a week. I don't know, whatever feels good to you, but you're going to have to make a ritual around releasing it. Right. And there's other ways you could do it. Like, for instance, if you go into an abandoned, like I live out in the desert, you can go throw rocks and scream. You could axe throw. You can go to one of those
a rage room. That.
But you cannot let this anger sit inside of you, because you have so much of it inside, and you're also very disconnected from it.
Yeah.
Right. And then we can't even reach the pain because of how disconnected you are from your emotions. So I have another process that I want to do on you. But what I want you to do, because I've noticed a few things. One is that when you start to go to a painful place, you start laughing.
Yeah.
Right. And that's okay. I used to do that too. I used to make jokes to cover my pain. But I just want you to make that connection so that maybe you can just be aware and say, okay, I'm feeling pain right now. Right? Like I said about the anger, it sits inside of you until it's emoted. So by you kind of plugging in and say, okay, I still have pain in there. And by the way, I've been on my healing journey for many years, and I still have pain that I, can pull out. Right. So don't judge it. Okay. But that little girl within you, she's holding on to a lot of pain. And so just notice these little markers. Okay. I'm laughing again when I'm saying something that is horribly hard. that I lived through. And we get to go back to this woman who experienced 20 years of torment.
Yeah.
20 years of torment, of belittling, of being rejected, of being just absolutely treated like you have 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters. We have so much in common, by the way, and I'll go into that later. But would you want any of those sweet babies of yours to
No.
live through what you lived through? So you get to now walk yourself through your healing journey, because I'm telling you, by you doing this work, they are going to heal, your daughters, because they have suffered a lot of trauma too.
Yeah.
By watching you suffer. They probably in a lot of ways, they probably wish they could have taken it for you.
Yeah, that was a hard yeah, that's probably what sits with me the most when I think about what I did to them, and I'll never know what it did to them. There's a lot of guilt there from
Yeah,
that.
a lot of shame that we get to work on. Okay. So let's do that now. I want you to close your eyes. We're going to tap into that shame. We're going to feel into it within your body, because it's in there. Could be in several places, but just notice that there's one place that seems to be coming from. It seems to be originating there. So first impression, put your hand on it. What color is it?
Green, like a green, yellowy green.
Okay. Okay, I want you to go into that yellowy green color. I want you to feel it. And I want you to allow that green to take you all the way back into your childhood, into the very first memories you have of feeling this emotion. And when you see that picture, when you have that picture, let me know.
Okay, I think I have it.
Okay. Describe to me, with no backstory, but describe to me what you're experiencing in this image.
I'm little. I'm probably 6 years old, and I'm crying because I can't stay awake, and I feel like I can't breathe. And I'm trying to tell my mom, but she's not. She is still driving me to school, and I'm crying in the car because I just want to sleep, and she's not listening. And she gets mad at me. She's scolding me for, I don't know why. I'm not understanding.
Mm-hmm. Any other sights, smells that you're experiencing? Can you make
Yeah,
that?
so she perfume, exclamation perfume, and she'd sprayed it right before we got in the car, and it's choking almost. And it was warm outside, so the air was blasting, and she smoked, so like still cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to school.
Okay, I want you to witness that 6-year-old little girl. Okay, I want you to be in that car, right? I want you to feel into what this little girl is experiencing right now. I want you to feel it. I want you to witness her face. Is she crying? Is she gasping? What is she feeling inside of her body? I want you to see that greeny yellow color all around her. And I want you to go into that emotion, and I want you to feel it for her. I actually want you to take it all on you. I actually want you to say, you know what? I'm taking this for you. And I want you to allow yourself to feel it. Double the emotion, triple the emotion. Let it move through you. Feel it. Feel it. Take it on for her. Allow it to be so potent and so powerful that it begins to dissolve. That's right. I want you to see it dissolving. I want you to see it disintegrating as you take on the emotion for her. I want you to see the color dissolving until it becomes a clear white. That's right. I want you to take it all on you until it is fully felt, absolutely dissolved, disintegrated with ease and grace and flow, with so much love, so much compassion. And when you see her emotional face, her emotional expression change, I want you to scoop her up in your arms. That's right. I want you to hold her. And I want you to tell her everything that she needs to hear right now. You're safe. You're
Safe.
loved. What else does she need to hear from you right now?
That it's okay that you're tired.
What else?
And that you don't have to parent your parents. That they'll be okay. That it's not your responsibility to make them feel better. And that you're valid.
What else does she need to know?
You don't have to please everybody to be loved.
What else?
It's okay to be a kid.
What else?
You don't have to go for everything. My mom's deficit is not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
I can still love her and have boundaries even at that age.
Mm-hmm. What else? What else does she need to know from you right now in this moment?
That she's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that she's not alone.
Mm-hmm. I want you to tell her how lovable she is. I want you to tell her how precious, how wonderful, how perfect and worthy she is. I want you to tell her that you have come all the way back from the future just to be here in this moment with her, to take on all of her pain, to show her how perfect she is. And I want you to see the expression on her face change. And then I want you to give her a healing bubble. I want you to pick the color. What color? What color of a healing bubble can you give her?
Oh, I'm picturing her face now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know what color the bubble is?
Yes. Yeah.
Pink.
It's pink. Okay. And I want you to put her in the big pink bubble. And I want you to tell her that whenever she needs to feel safe and loved and understood and heard, all she has to do is connect to this big pink bubble, this sparkly pink, beautiful healing energy bubble all around her. All she has to do is connect to it, recognize that it's always there.
It is
And
sparkly.
yeah. And tell her that no matter what she's going through, that you will always be here for her. Whenever she needs you, you'll come all the way back just to be with her. And I want you to give her a big hug, kiss, tell her how much you love her.
Oh, I love her.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want you to bring into focus your mother. And I want you to once again feel your mother's emotion,
Mm-hmm.
the pain she's in. I want you to feel it. I want you to understand where her pain is coming from right here in this moment. And I want you to take it on. What color is her pain?
Red.
It's red.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to see that big red bubble around her, and I want you to move into that red. And I want you to do the same thing you did for your 6-year-old self. And I want you to take on the emotion. I want you to double it, triple it. I want you to feel it fully until you allow it to completely dissolve. That's right. Feel it, emote it for her. Allow yourself to feel it for her and watch it disintegrate as you just picture it like threading a needle. You're moving through that red till it's completely dissolved, resolved with ease and grace and flow, with so much love and gratitude, noting that her pain and your pain all go back to before both of you guys, passed down through the DNA, generation after generation after generation. And as we dissolve these emotions, we recognize that we're dissolving it for the entire lineage, knowing it's no longer necessary to carry this on from one generation to the next. Nope, we're resolving it here and now in this moment. And when you see the red disintegrate, melt away, blow away in the wind, I want you to recognize that what remains is a bright white ball of energy around your mom. And I want you to notice her emotional state after resolving all these red emotions. I want you to notice her face change, soften. Her whole energy is relaxed and calm because you came back to resolve these emotions passed down through your lineage. That's right. And I want you to hug your mom. That's right. Scoop her up in your arms. Let the emotion come up. Don't hold it back. If the tears want to come up, I want you to let them come. There's no use in letting those sit inside of your body. I want you to hold your mom, and I want you to tell her everything that you would like to tell her in this moment.
I love her and I miss her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame her.
Tell her that, Mom.
Mom, I don't blame you. And I'm not angry. And I understand why you did things that you did. And I do think that you're a good mom. And I know that we don't see eye to eye on a lot of our main parenting decisions, but I still respect you. And I think you're a good mom.
Anything else?
Sorry that I haven't included you in my daughter's lives more. That I didn't come to you during my marriage. That I kept you away. And I miss you.
Anything else?
Yeah, whenever I get sick, I still want you to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Still want my mom.
Is there anything that you haven't told her that you'd like to tell her now?
All the years that I said I didn't need you, I did need you. And I'm sorry because I know you wanted to be there. And I don't know why I kept you away, pushed you away. I think it was because I was embarrassed or ashamed how my life was turning out.
Are you willing to let go of that shame now?
If that's possible, yeah, that would be wonderful.
Okay. I want you to give the shame a color.
Okay.
Green.
Mhm.
I want you to see it as a big green ball in front of you. And I want you to recognize that it's rotating in your mind's eye, that it's rotating in a certain direction, this green ball. And I want you to grab a hold of it and I want you to spin it in the opposite direction.
Okay, do you want me to
Yep.
actually?
Yep. Physically grab a hold of it. I want you to spin it in the opposite direction. Keep spinning it. Keep spinning it. Keep spinning it. And as it spins, I want you to see it getting bigger. And also just notice as it's spinning if the color changes at all. Keep spinning, double the spin, keeping in mind that the color, stay connected to the color changes, right? Keep spinning, double the speed, double the speed, double the speed, double the speed, double the speed. And when you know it's going so fast, the momentum is so fast, you could never stop it. I want you to take it and slam it back in your body. Now notice the change. I want you to see it in your mind's eye, breaking up into billions of pieces, moving throughout the bloodstream to every organ, every muscle, every tissue, each and every cell of your body, DNA, RNA, all the way down to your epigenetics, creating new pathways. That's right. I want you to breathe it in, allowing it to go deeper and deeper and deeper on a cellular level. That's right. Feeling that relaxation moving through each and every cell of your body to recode the new structure, the new way of being, dissolving all the old, dissolving everything that no longer serves, letting go of the shame, releasing it, and allowing the new thing to come through: love, gentleness, openness, freedom. That's right. And I want you to allow the stuff that no longer serves to just simply move out. Move out. It's no longer needed. We're releasing all the baggage that no longer serves. We say, thank you for your service, and you are no longer needed. That's right. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Open your eyes when you're ready. How do you feel?
Kind of light, not lightheaded, but like after you work out really hard and your muscles are kind of fatigued afterwards, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that makes sense because we moved a lot of energy out of you.
That was impressive.
So I'll explain it now with the colors. When we are first born into the world, the first two languages we learn are color and emotion. And so what we do is all that trapped stuff that little girl felt the pain she felt, it still is inside of you. And when we're doing this work, we are literally pulling out those colors that create the imbalance, because no colors are bad or good. We need all of it, right? To be a balanced human. We need the light and the dark parts. However, there's stuck stuff in there, right? You got a lot because you have this pain that you have really literally choked down, right? And I see you, as we processed more, you got more open about it. Like you started to crack open, but there's still some really big walls that you have, because look at you. We've lived 42 years, right? We have 42 years worth of pain. So the excavation it's going to have to be a little bit more.
Right.
But you got there as we went through. I could see you kind of opening up and getting a little bit more, loose, and just saying, going with it and being like, okay, this is weird, but let's see what happens.
Well, I think I'm at a point where I'm so desperate for healing that I mean I'll try anything, because I think it's possible. I know it's possible, and I just have to give it a chance. I've got to.
Nice.
What I'm doing isn't working, so and I do the energy. I believe in that. I do think that everything has an energy. I just don't know how to wrangle it.
Yep. Well, that's where I come in, darling. That's where I come in.
It's
Okay. So obviously this is one step. The light feeling, that's what I hear a lot, when we first start. Well, I could tell that you have done some work. Have you done some like therapy?
oh yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you have, because usually if someone hasn't, they're much more guarded. There's a lot more walls and hurdles. So I could tell you've done some work. There's a lot still, like I said, to get done. This was like step one, kind of looking into it. But sometimes if someone hasn't done any inner work, they get to around our age and they open up Pandora's box, there can be met a lot of resistance. And it could even be like, for me, the first couple of weeks I started doing my inner trauma healing, I was kind of wigging out. I got triggered a lot. But then after the 2 weeks, it kind of gets easier and easier, because you've already dug the hole down and you're just kind of, you keep digging, but it does get easier, is what I'm trying to say, right? Because some people are like, oh, 12 weeks, that's going to be so hard. But I'm like, the first couple of weeks are hard. Then you start to really get to look at things, because here's the thing. Everything that you've attracted in your life is because of the beliefs that you developed in those first 5 years of life. So you really can't blame the adult Shae for all of the life experience that she allowed, because she did that for a reason. And until we really track back the beliefs to look at, okay, well, what are the beliefs that I hold that would say that I am not worthy of having all my needs met and being loved and being adored? Why did I let it be okay for someone to treat me in such awful ways? And I'm telling you, the reason why I love this work is because for those of us who have kids, especially daughters, right? Who, until we change those patterns that have been passed down generation to generation, they just keep going. And we're the strong ones that get to stand up and say, no more.
Yeah. And I see that even with my oldest daughter. She's 20, and her boyfriend reminds me a lot of her dad. And even she acknowledges that too. It's like, we know what we did, but how do we beat it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
So a few areas that I think that you get to look at with the shame part.
Mm-hmm.
I think you get to sit down with a journal and look at what shame is doing to you, because you are literally beating yourself up every single day in your thought life. I want you to recognize when those thought patterns are coming in. And I want you, sometimes I'll do with my clients, I want you to picture a color, like think of those thoughts, those negative thoughts, as a color, and just pretend like you're going like this, right? And pulling it right out of your brain and do something with it. So either you can stick it in like a box, an imaginary box, right? You can sometimes the toilet, the trash. It's just symbolizing to your subconscious mind, hey, we're not doing this anymore, right?
Okay.
So it's just a little symbolism that you could do, like pull that, colorful ball out of your head, put it somewhere, and change the subject. And you could say something like, I fully forgive and accept myself exactly how I am. Replace it with something good, right?
Mhm.
I mean, look at you. Look at how freaking strong you are. Look at what you endured. Give yourself credit that you are a badass, right?
That's one of the things that I don't know why I keep projecting it because it's kind of true. I mean, what I've done in a year since my divorce is kind of, I mean, yeah, I'm definitely a badass,
You're
but
definitely a badass.
I'm like, no, like I never
Right.
want attention or the, I don't want all eyes on me. I do things very quietly. Accomplishments and things like that are very quietly done.
Well, see, and then I noticed another thing you said when we were going through the process is you were telling your little self, you don't have to please everyone to be loved.
Yeah.
And so what that told me, that is one of your deep-seated beliefs.
Hmm.
I have to do what everyone else wants me to do in order to be loved. Now, what we call in my line of work, these are commands, and they were developed that you went through a traumatic event in your first 5 years of life, and in that event, you decided this. Okay. In that moment, you decided this. And what happens in a traumatic event, a high state of negative emotion, it gets stamped onto your subconscious mind. They're very deep stamps.
Hmm.
Mine ran the show in my entire unhealed life, just ran the show. I'm unlovable. I'm unlovable. And I completely destroyed my life with these commands, right? So to know them is very, very powerful. So I'd love you to, note that to yourself. And then you get to work on that on a daily basis, knowing that this is a deep rooted belief. Okay. So when I say work on it, you need a statement, an affirmation that says the opposite. And I don't know what that is because you get to create that, but it's got to be a strong statement about pleasing you, loving you, adoring you. You get to, from this moment on, be your own best friend, to be your best cheerleader, to be the one that's like, yes, 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 yes. And I know I'm giving you so much to do, but I'm just giving you some ideas, and take what you want. You can throw away the rest. But one thing I have my clients do is to go to the mirror every day, look at themselves in their own eyes, and affirm themselves. Look deep in your own eyes. Tell yourself how much you love you, how proud you are of everything that you've been through, how wonderful, all those things that you needed to hear when you were a little girl. I want you to give yourself on a daily basis, looking deeply into your own eyes, connecting with you. Okay. That's a very, very powerful practice. I know I just gave you so much. I'm sorry.
That's
That's where I'd start. But becoming very, very in tune with your emotions is going to be very significant for you with that disconnect you have with them.
I'm wondering if because when you say that I wonder if it's the same thing. Our house was broken into several years ago, and I happened to have an appointment with my psychiatrist that same day. And I was telling him what happened about our house getting broken into that morning. And I was alone, and he came through my bedroom window, and he said that he was concerned with how disconnected I was from what had happened and how I was telling him about it happening, that was something that I should have been, much more, I should have been crying or hysterical about it. And I just said it to him with no, like, yeah, it was just another thing that happened.
Mm.
I'm wondering if that's kind of the same thing that you're talking about
Oh
as far as
yeah.
my emotions.
Yeah, well, we develop all sorts of ways to protect ourselves when we're young. Um, Whatever it takes for us to survive our family of origin, that's who we develop into, right? So in my family, it was very angry. There was a lot of physical abuse and physical violence. So for me, I get violent. I rage when I get triggered. For some people, like my husband, his is like to freeze, become small, become quiet, right? So we all have those ways of being that have kept us safe, kept us alive through our childhood, and then become our personality
Yeah.
because we never heal. Most of us never heal them. So you get to, like, if you did say you did want to work with me and we went 12 weeks in, we would go through all those events, like that event that you went through, the fact that you had a disconnect from the emotion, you had an out of body experience, almost like you weren't there feeling it. So that is something you developed to get you through life. Right. And it makes sense because look at your 6-year-old experience when you're hysterical and you can't breathe and you're like, what did that little girl have to learn how to do? She had to learn to pop out of her body and just observe as a viewer instead of feeling it, So if you choose to go further in your healing journey, that would be something that you get to look at because you obviously did that for 20 years too. Or else how would you have been able to endure that?
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, I know it is. Sorry, girl. I go deep. I told you, dude, we got a small amount of time. I want to give you the most amount of like the biggest healing transformational journey I can give you in this short period of time. So,
Or
and if you want to go to the next step, we could talk about that too. But I know I gave you a lot to process, and I really do hope that you can start working on your relationship with yourself.
yeah, that's important. And I know that that's important too. And I don't know why like I said, I always thought I had self-respect, but clearly I had none. Because I certainly was not loving myself while staying in my marriage the way that I did.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, you only like no one taught you how to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's why we just do what we were taught to do, and we don't really change the program because it can be difficult to change.
Oh gosh, when I think about what I used to tell my daughters too, with like being emotional or having feelings like that, I would tell them, you shove that far down and you cry on the inside like a big girl.
You really said that?
hmm
Okay, interesting.
hmm
Interesting. Where did you get that from?
Because that's what I do. I shove that down as far as it can go and I cry inside like a big girl and then get on with my day.
Okay, you get to let yourself cry.
Yeah.
You have to think about all those colors, all those negative colors that are literally anchoring you, right? They're like
Mhm.
heavy weights. That's why when
Yeah.
we went through this process, I said, how do you feel when we came out? And you said light.
Yeah.
And that's because you are physically lighter because you were able to shed some of that dense, dense energy trapped in your body. When you cry, it's the same thing. After you cry, you have this like sort of light feeling. You're moving that energy out. You're literally shedding negative ions that are trapped in the body and you're letting them come out. So you have to see that as a good thing. It's not weakness.
Yeah.
We all have pain. You just get to let the emotions move out of you and not see it as like, oh, I can't feel that. Because it's in you, affecting you, whether you attach yourself or connect to it or not. So it's just about, okay, here's the pain, and there goes the pain because I let myself feel it. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And another thing that I used to do, my mom told me to do this, she would tell me kind of where, whatever you have the problem that's hurting you, like to set it down at the curb. Like no one else is going to pick it up. Like you can just set it down and get on with your life. And then whenever you have a chance to deal with it, then you can go back and pick it up. The problem is that it just, and you never like, why would I go back and pick it up? Like that's not, no. So I know that, but that became something that I would, that I would do. I would literally, something would hurt me. Like, okay, I can't deal with this right. I'm going to just set it on the curb. No one else is going to pick it up. It'll be there when I need it or when I can get a minute for it.
Yeah, but the problem is, look, now you want love.
Mm-hmm.
I would not suggest that you go looking for love until this shit is dealt with because you know what you're going to attract?
Oh yeah.
Your husband 2.0.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tell people, I Divorce if you must. Fine, please. I would have advised you many, many years ago, get
I
the
know.
hell out of there. But
I know.
here here you are. And the process is perfect because I feel like until we've experienced enough pain, we don't change. So here you are. I would not look for anything until I started to deal with this stuff because it's not going to be fun.
Yeah, it hasn't been fun. I'm learning my lesson with that one because now I've got a stalker.
Oh,
I know.
oh, where do you live? What state?
In the Woodlands, Texas. It's right out. It's
Texas?
Houston. Yeah.
Houston.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's not Houston, but it's a northern suburb of Houston, right outside of Houston.
Okay.
So, yeah, yeah, I don't know what my problem is. I mean, I know what my problem is. I'm now trying to address it. I'm trying to get it healed because I know it's not good.
I
Yeah.
mean, it just depends on what you want.
I want something like I want peace. I want like a just non-dramatic, like no chaos, just like I know that it's possible because I see it in real life. I have friends that have very peaceful and respectful relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, for whatever reason, I attract it, I guess. I don't know. Not that I've had many dating experiences, even post divorce, but I get the crazies, which is
I
funny to me.
I would
Like,
stop saying that though.
I know. That's why I'm going to be celibate and I'm not going to date. I just want to date myself.
I mean, that's fine for a minute, but I really believe that you get to have what you want and don't run away from the shadows because I know from personal experience, it is hard to go in there. It is hard to change. It is hard to shift things. I hate using the word hard. It's not hard. It's a labor of love,
Yeah.
but everything you want is on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you want is in there, and you might have to open up and say, okay, I've shoved all of this pain down deep, 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 and now I get to let it out because I want that love. Because
Mm-hmm.
I want to, we attract what we are.
Yeah.
And most of the times, no one knows what they are because are so disconnected from their belief system. But you know what you are by what you are drawing into your life. So please just do the work.
Yeah. I'm doing it, or I'm trying to. I'm dedicated to it. I'm committed to it.
Good, good. Well, you let me know tomorrow how I want to know. We just released a lot of toxins, so you're gonna have to drink a lot of water. I suggest getting good sleep tonight because it's almost like, a deep tissue massage.
Yeah.
You expelled a lot of energy. So make sure you hydrate yourself really well. And I'd love for you to, follow up with me tomorrow and let me know how you feel.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to see how I'm going to feel tomorrow. Like I know that it's healing work, and I'm gonna I know that I'm gonna be very resistant to it because I know that there's a lot that I have 20 years worth at least of just as far as I could shove it and not. I always thought I've even said it out loud to people, like if I pretend it's not there, then it can't hurt me. And for a long time, that helped. That worked. I was able to get by with that. But man, if it's not catching up with me now,
I don't think you can go back once you can't unsee it. It's like once you know it's there and it's just you can't unsee it. It's like you can't go back. Once you start on the healing path, there just isn't going back. You can't go back to the ignorance that it's kind of like I've seen that with a lot of women whose husbands cheated for many years and they kind of went like this.
yeah.
My mom being one of them. My mom's story is very similar to yours. Um, the difference is that my dad actually contracted AIDS, and he died when I was 11. So, um, similar but different. But it's like even my mom, she's like, I just loved him. She had the same story. I just loved him, and I wanted you guys to have a dad. And it was like, okay, she did what she had to do, right? But I mean,
I know it's a tough situation, and I even with the AIDS, I worry because my husband was also sleeping with men. Um, of course, that I didn't know until the very end, but I did know about the other women, and I knew that there were safe STDs, and luckily, I was fortunate, but I know that a lot of women aren't.
I mean, I had to do a lot of my healing journey from, he died when I was 11. So at, I was dealing with shit for long after he lived because he was also very abusive and controlling. So everything that your husband is, I was the daughter in that situation.
Okay.
So, and here I stand. I've dealt with my own stuff, right? And so that's how I can do what I do now, because it is my great joy to help others walk through it. Because
I would
it's
do that.
what's that?
I would love to see my daughters do that because I know that they're
Yeah,
going to.
they will do it through you.
I'm hopeful for that.
They will do it through you, meaning when you change the lineage, because when I took you back through that process, you're changing the lineage. You are literally changing back generations and forward generations because in each cell of our body, we we are carrying down DNA from both our mother and father's side. So when we heal that, it goes forward 7 generations and back 7 generations. So you really are literally shifting it for your daughters. I watched my kids change when I went through my healing process.
Really?
They didn't do anything, but I was changing. They had to.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
And my husband changed. Everyone changed in my world because I changed.
Do you think it's as if it, like if your children aren't living with you anymore? Because my kids are grown. Like,
No,
did
it's energetic
okay.
because I mean, this might be getting too deep. And if it's too deep, sorry, but in each and every cell of our body, if you split it open, right, there's like, it's all it is energy. So um, religions call it spirit,
Mm,
science calls it energy, but it's the same stuff and it fills each and every cell of your being. Well, we know that energy can neither be created or destroyed, it just is.
right.
So an atomic bomb can't destroy that energy that is in every cell of your being. So where does that energy go when you transition back into non-physical?
Mm,
So that, and that's the stuff that is energizing um the entire everything.
yeah.
It's all energy. So what we move out of you, we transmute, we change the emotion on that energy. We create a new thing, really.
Yeah.
But the energy doesn't go anywhere. So everyone who's ever lived is still around, just in a different form, not the meat suit, right? So when we transmute the cells, the data in our cells, because our cells are just carrying data. And when we change the data by doing the healing work, it just changes the history. We change the history that way.
That's amazing to think about.
So that's why I tell people, I'm like, I am so thankful for the people who just step up to say, I'm going to do my part to heal the world, because I believe by me changing me, I have changed the world.
Yeah.
And when one person does that, the ripple effect is just massive,
I believe that too.
right? And so just one person saying, yes, yes, I'll heal is like, it sings to my soul something beautiful.
I believe that. And I
Mhm.
can I feel the same way. I mean, I don't know that I'm a on a skilled way that you are, but if you can help me, then I'll take it.
I would love to.